The school year across New York is starting to wind down, but the discussion about electric school buses is not cooling as the district's timeline to buy them gets just a little bit shorter every day. So many pieces to it. So let's get the perspective from National Grid. Joining us now, Leslie Vishwanath from National Grid. She is the project manager for fleet transition. Leslie, thanks for joining us. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for including National Grid.
So let's try to start here because we won't be able to get to everything in these 5 minutes. But obviously there are dozens and dozens of area districts that are going to need enough power to charge all these buses. So two parts. First, how close could National Grid come today to powering a full fleet for all these schools?
Well, fortunately, we have time. As far as the timeline and goals for fleet electrification and school bus electrification in New York, by 2027, any new school bus purchase will need to be electric, and by 2035, the full school bus fleet would need to transition to electric. In the meantime, National Grid has been doing research of our infrastructure, and we believe 3/4 of our territory can handle an additional 1 megawatt of school bus charging load per site, which means there's substantial capacity that's available. Of course, there's infrastructure upgrades for the other 1/4 of the sites in our service territory, which is why it's really important for school districts to reach out to us as soon as possible to begin the infrastructure planning process.
So likely then the power is definitely there to get to all the fleets in 2035. Did I understand that correctly?
Yes, as far as the supply,
yes,
the supply is adequate based on our forecast.
Okay.
Yes.
So now let's talk about the infrastructure. So what types of things would National Grid and school districts need to start working on to help them get that power to those school buses?
Well, we want to talk to school districts about how many buses they're going to be electrifying and when, so we can understand the load growth over time. And we want to also understand the charging speed, and if they're using level 2 chargers or DC fast chargers, to kind of understand what total load those sites will be seeing. And then we'll start talking to them about infrastructure upgrades, whether it's transformers, feeders. However, the majority of the sites we're looking at need minor upgrades. You know, some sites will require substantial upgrades, but it's important that school districts talk to us now and start planning for the future.
All right, so it sounds like from several of the superintendents I've talked to, they've been doing their own studies on their power needs, how this would all work. How do we get the school districts and National Grid now to come together to figure out how do we meet the needs? Because we're all working towards the same goal. I haven't heard from one superintendent that says we're against electric buses. It's just how do we get there? And I know you guys want to help.
Yes, so National Grid offers a fleet advisory service. And as part of the fleet advisory service, we can do a no-cost fleet assessment where we can look at school district sites and look at their current infrastructure. We talk to school districts about their buses and their charging plans. And we also discuss upgrades that might be needed. But of course, that takes money, so we want to also promote our EV charging infrastructure incentives to help our school districts save on costs.
That was what I was going to ask you next. So my next question was, to add anything in this world, it costs money. Where does it come from? Is it grid? Is it schools? Is it reserve funds? Is it taxpayers? Is it rebates? Is it all those things? Like, how do you see that kind of playing out?
It's definitely a mix. This transition is about partnership and collaboration. And so National Grid is doing a lot of work with our school districts and the U.S. EPA to ensure federal resources come to New York State to help our school districts save money. And last week, there was a huge announcement out of Washington that many of our school district customers received funding from the EPA's Clean School Bus Program. And that was funding for buses and infrastructure. So that was a huge win for New York State because New York State received the highest funding allocation more than any other state in the country. So that's going to help our school districts save money.
Yeah, I'm going to try to squeeze one more in, about 30 seconds, Leslie. I know it's not fair. How important is it for districts to, you guys just really start talking now, even if it's just to get those talks started and studies started?
Yes, well, with school bus electrification, we always say that school districts' first call should be to their electric utility, and early and often engagement on infrastructure planning is key to a successful transition to electric school buses. So if school districts have not started conversations with their electric utility or National Grid, they should definitely reach out. Okay.
I have so many more questions, Leslie. We're going to have you back again soon because I'm running short on time, but really appreciate getting the conversation started tonight. Thanks so much for joining us.